Abigail's grief. Abigail Campbell had always been a strong woman. She had been raised that way, taught from an early age that hardship was just another part of life. Born the eldest of 6 children to a farming family in Kentucky, she had spent her childhood hauling water, mending clothes, and helping her mother bring babies into the world. There had never been time for weakness. She had seen things that would break most women: brothers lost to war, sisters buried before they were grown, fields swallowed by fire and drought. And yet, through it all, she had endured. She had learned how to swallow grief and how to carry on. But nothing had prepared her for this. For the hollow silence in the house that used to be filled with Letty's laughter. For the sound of Thomas locking the door upstairs every night. For the way her own daughter now looked at her like a stranger. Or worse, like an animal in a cage. It had been nearly a month since the night that the latch had gone on, since the moment Abigail had felt the world slip out from under her feet. She had fought Thomas on it at first. "She's sick, Thomas," she had pleaded, her voice raw. "She needs help, not a prison." "She hurt Sammy," Thomas had shot back, his voice like a storm ready to break. "She could have killed him, Abigail." "I know that, but locking her away? What else am I supposed to do?" His voice had cracked then just for a moment, and that had terrified her more than anything. "Tell me, Abby, what else?" She had no answer, and that was the moment that she had realized that there was no answer. So she let it happen. That was what haunted her the most. Not the fits, not the strange whispers in the night, not even the way Letty's once bright eyes had dulled to nothing, but the fact that she had let her child be shut away, that she had failed her. Abigail stood at the wash basin now, her hands submerged in the icy water, scrubbing at a shirt that had already been cleaned for hours. Her knuckles were raw, her fingertips wrinkled, but she didn't stop. She couldn't. If she stopped, she would have to think. And if she thought, she would hear Letty's voice in her head. "Please, Mama, please." She squeezed her eyes shut. Her breath came in sharp, shallow gasps. The guilt was just suffocating her. She should have seen it sooner. She should have known that something was wrong before it got this far. A mother's supposed to know. There had been signs, God help her. There had been so many signs. The forgetfulness, the distant staring, the way Letty had started avoiding the sunlight and spending more and more time in the dim corners of the house. And then the fits. She had told herself it was just exhaustion, that Letty had always been a strange child, and a little too wild, and a little too sensitive. But deep down, she had known. She had known something was wrong, and yet she had done nothing. A sob caught in her throat, but she swallowed it down. She couldn't cry. If she started now, she might never stop. She pressed her hands against the edge of the basin, her arms trembling. She wanted to go to Letty, to throw open the door, to gather her daughter into her arms and fix whatever had broken between them. But every night, when she climbed those stairs with a plate of food in her hands, she hesitated at the door. Because she was afraid, afraid of what she might find, afraid that the girl behind that door wasn't her daughter anymore. And that, more than anything, was a truth she could not bear. So she did what she always had done. She endured. She folded shirts, cooked meals, She tended to the other children. She pretended she was whole. But in the quiet of the night, when the house was still and the only sound was the wind rattling the shutters, she lay awake beside Thomas, staring at the ceiling, listening, waiting, praying that somehow, some way, she could wake up and everything would be as it once was. But deep, deep down in her soul, she knew Letty was slipping further and further away, and one day the daughter she had loved so fiercely would be gone. Not dead, but something worse, something lost. And Abigail, God help her, did not know if she would ever be able to forgive herself.